One of the things you're faced with when you look at this game, and yeah, I'm just going to do this normal playthrough. We'll see if I need the tripod. But I think I can get used to the put up and down. One of the things you're faced with this game is what the fuck do I do? I mean, everything's kind of out there and up there. There's a few options that can make you money. One is you can invest in stuff, but investment, remember, is a powerful tool. It's a tool that allows you to manipulate currency. And if you're investing in something, you've just changed the values of the currencies and may open up opportunities for other people. Now, doing it right at the beginning of the game just changes some of the mechanisms here. But on the other hand, there are some currencies that have very few certificates. It doesn't get you that much, but it does get you the possibility of generating income off of the resolutions of whatever these are called, the interest cards. I don't know what they're actually called. But anyway, I think in general it's better to start setting something up so that you can make money off of transactions. And the way you do that is you set up a transaction. Well, at the beginning of the game, the Chinese yuan is almost invariably the weakest currency and is therefore an attractive one to purchase into. Taking your strongest currency, something like the Great British Pound, and plotting to buy some yen fairly soon means that on your next turn, you could spend your two yen and buy yourself a factory and change the dynamic. And if a number of people do this at once, the yen's going to go way up in value, but everybody's going to make some money off of it. So it seems almost the default thing to do is to say, okay, I'm going to program a bid of 2, and that gets me 8 of the weaker. It's not the only thing. And that'll be plotted there. And that's the first person's turn. I'm going to use this die to mark whose turn is up next. I've got 4 players in the game, 3 running down this side and 1 over here. I found that doing 4 on one table was a little painful, but I like the idea of 4 players, 3 players is probably a fine game. I can't imagine this in 2. I think that would be a goofy exercise, but I'm not sure, but it sounds like it would be. But I think 4 is probably the sweet spot for it. It can handle more, but why bother? You wouldn't want to go above 6 because that's 1 contract for each player. You don't want to put a person in a position where they don't at least have the option to grab a contract early in the game. All right, let me think a little bit about this second player now. So he already knows somebody else is contracting in the pounds for yen transition. I could try to screw with that. I could buy yen, that upgrades it. That doesn't really help. Buying the pound certificate screws with his transaction, and makes it less valuable. But the problem with that, of course, is I'm hurting one person and not gaining anything myself. Do I want to just group think along? Is there something else I'd like to do? It's a really interesting set of questions, and it's hard to tell. It really is. I don't see why I don't take the biggest advantage that's out there, to tell you the truth. Is it an advantage, though? Well, the yen, even if it gets screwed, is the least likely to get screwed the most, and it has the most room to grow. It just seems to me to be the best deal that's out there, and I do not know why somebody would not take it. However, if 2 people are taking it, 3 people are taking it, the 4th person may fight against it and start screwing up the economy for them. So we'll see. But I'm going to do the same damn thing. I'm going to put that. And you can see this is, why I want both hands free, because doing this with one hand is not the most trivial thing in the world. But I am going to take the same exact contract and put it out there. Third person. Wow. Huh. Not sure. I can't screw it up by buying these. That only helps it. But by buying these, I can screw it up for them. By making the yen weaker in comparison to what they've contracted to pay. Do I want to waste my effort on that? I don't know. I'll waste my effort on that, as I call it. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to spend £2, buy myself one of these. This way you get to see the mechanism in play. And now that weakens every currency in relation to the pound. There's no pound on anyone else's. It's the strongest currency. And I've just hurt both of these people by making their transaction a little bit less valuable. Now we go over to him. You must do something every round. Well, now this is even a better deal, isn't it? Yeah. I'll take this better deal. All right. So now the first player has his contract set aside that he wants to make. And we've seen one person has already tried to interfere with that, but the others are playing along in the same game. What's important about that game? Well, one thing I got to remember, I probably want to have this cash on hand to make that contract. So I do not want to buy pounds. Another thing is, even though I might want to buy CNYs and improve the contract for myself there. That's probably what I want to do right now. So I'm going to buy CNYs, but I want to improve the value of CNYs the best I can, which generally means I want to do another transaction first. It actually doesn't matter too much. Now, I could set up a second contract, but I've got the first of these fired off. I might be in the ugliest position, so I want to get that CNY out there. What's the next one? Well, gosh, that's kind of hard to tell. Everybody's got contracts that are the same as mine, so it's not absolutely clear that there's something I want to do in particular. So I'm going to buy a euro factory first. And the first thing that happens is that weakens every other currency against the euro. And then I'll do the same with the Chinese yuan. And that will, there's nothing on here, but it does strengthen the yen everywhere else. Which is kind of cool. And that moves me down. Now he's playing here too. I really should get myself a contract. Oh no, I have one. Okay. I am also playing in that yen range, but it's going to take a couple of people firing an action off. I don't know if that's going to happen. So yeah, let's go for another contract. CAD is also kind of a weak currency, but it's not necessarily, yeah, it's the next weakest currency. So let's go with that. What can I get good returns on with the CAD? Well, I'll be getting some CNYs, and that's kind of an interesting thing. Because before that next contract happens, this one has to be resolved. So I will have 8 yen. However, I'm planning on strengthening the yen, so I don't want to deal in yen. So what is my next thing? Well, I've already committed my pounds, so I don't want to spend those. The next best is the euro, and somebody just strengthened it. Sounds like a great deal. So what I'm going to do is look at the yen. I'm sorry. I could increase my holdings in yen, for that matter. But I like the idea of diversifying here because I can play then in the Canadian dollar as well. So what if I look at this? Well, I can get twice the Canadian dollars as I get for euros. So I'll make, let's move these this way, leave a little bit more room. I've got a lot of space over here for this player. I'm going to make this contract my option. Of course, if I'm doing that, I probably ought to do it this way too, and now the world's getting complicated. Okay, so I program that into the line, I pick up one of these, and we go to the next player. This is the guy who does not have a contract. I've already spent my money strengthening the pound, so I also don't have pounds, but I could generate some. But I've already kind of wasted my firepower on that. So, gosh, what do I want to do? Well, I could play in the same world that he's playing in. I could work in an opposite world and, you know, trade like yen for something else. Like I could spend 2 yen to get 1 Canadian dollar. I generally like my payoff to be a larger payoff though, so I think I probably want to go in a different direction. So I'm going to pick up a contract, but what is my contract going to be? I don't want to play in pounds or yen, although I've weakened yen. US dollars I could get 6 yen for the 2 I have. For the 2 euros I have, I can't. At 3.5 yen per euro, though, I could get 7 yen. Is that really a deal? I mean, I could have done that before. Well, why not? One reason why not is that 2 players are now playing in euros. If I do that, somebody could strengthen the euro and thereby make that deal less valuable. So yeah, I'm going to commit to 2 US dollars, although everybody is pissed at me. So this may not be a good idea. And I'm going to get my fistful of yen because I think people are going to be buying yen, strengthening the yen in general. There's so many people who hold it that I might as well get in on that. So I will pick up 6 yen in exchange for those $2. And now here's one of the issues with the game. Eventually, contracts run out and there are no more that you can buy. And this is sort of the driver of the game because in general, your best actions are either investment or create contracts. Those are the 2 things that are going to kind of change the monetary position on people. Firing one of these off in and of itself doesn't do much comparatively. These are pre-programmed, they're set in place. It's often better to make your planning and plotting, but sometimes it's important to get these fired off before other people get their chances to hurt you, to plot against you, etc. So C is looking here. Well, he made the good deal on the yen. Do I want to buy into something else? That's a good question. Here we have one that I kind of like, CHF and US dollars. I could start screwing around with stuff by making a commitment to spend 2 CHF for 2 US dollars, getting a stronger currency, slightly stronger. But here's the point. I can change that 1-to-1 very easily. I kind of like when things are sitting on that corner. And you might ask yourself, well, why didn't you do that first off? Yeah, well, sometimes it's not clear, what you want to do. All right, this guy sitting here, he has just strengthened the yen. He can't do that again. He's got the euro that he strengthened. That doesn't really do anything for anyone. I can't buy any more contracts, but I could improve something else that I've got, or I could hurt other people. Hurting other people, I look here, I could buy more investments. Investments are cool, but it's a long time before they pay off at the beginning of the game. I want to, I think, start firing time off. So this goes off. It doesn't do anything, but it opens up the possibility of the rest of the contracts. And you'll be constantly sliding these along. So that's going to be my action. I basically took the null op at the beginning of the game. That puts it on this guy. Gotta buy my yens because we want to improve them. And this is cool for him because somebody else is going to improve the yens as well. So I just bought myself my first. Ooh, I should be picking another one. What other one am I involved in? BD. I'm involved in Canadian dollars as well. So I'll do the yen first. No reason not to. Nothing on here, so these all decrease. And you can see the heavy investment in contracts for yen means the value of yen is going to go up. And that's why you want to play in the same place as other people are playing. And I'm going to do the same thing with the Canadian dollar. Buying a certificate on that because I'm interested in that. And now we look, and the Canadian dollar, well, that weakens the yen, but it strengthens on everyone else. We go down here. He can't get a second. He has not bought his yen improvement. Now, if he does it, he's helping everyone else, and he's very far down here. I might want to start triggering other people's yen purchases before I do that. So let's fire this off. And I'm firing contract A off. He's got to pay £2 to get his 8 yen. He has £2. They're both paid. He gets a pile of yen for that. Now, what did he do? What was his valuation there? Well, he spent £2 for 8 yen, and the yen has been strengthened overall. So he made a little bit of money off that. That was this guy's action. Shoot over here where I'm never looking. Okay, well, now there's an ability to do a contract. And this is one of the questions that comes up. Hey, if people are allowed to buy contracts, what's going on? Well, yeah, I've got this extra opportunity, and that's a great thing usually. But I got to make sure that my yen is at the highest value I can get it. Even though there's other people involved here, this guy is going to be able to take advantage. I want to take advantage of my own shares of the yen. So let me look at my other. My others is the US dollar. So I am going to buy in the US dollar first and get myself one of these. And that causes the dollar to be stronger. And now I'm going to buy myself my yen. And that will strengthen the yen. And so now these trade-offs that I've made earlier are getting more and more valuable. We swing over to him. He has no contracts out there. He has an opening contract. I have a whole pile of yen. People have been consistently strengthening the yen. This guy can still strengthen it. That would hurt me. So maybe I don't want to exchange my yen. Maybe I do. I don't know. What's his contract? His contract is to buy yen. I probably don't want to get involved in that. Player or contract B is over here. That's a pretty good deal still. The yen is better than it was, so I don't want to fire that off particularly. I have no terrible interest in that. So what I'm going to do is probably form a different contract. Which different contract can I take advantage of? It's a good question. I like the CHF CAD or the Jap Yen CAD options. Those are both interesting because I could exchange two of these. Wait, which one do I want? Which one's the right one? If I buy this, this is likely to get weaker possibly. So I think I want to buy the CAD, or I want to pay CAD to buy an equivalent number of Japanese. I'll take this again. This gets pre-programmed in again. Now, what's kind of interesting here is this is getting programmed in after the next payout. If I buy more Japanese, that's not going to get me more income for the CAD. Yeah. Basically, the two that I pay, if I paid 2 CAD for a certificate, I would be actually hurting my contract there. And I would still only get to pay for 2. So there's no opportunity here to do what I'd call a pre-planning. Yeah, after the next income, I'll have money in that. I could do that with the CNY. I have 8 in hand, plus I could get 2 more. So I have 10 CNY to play with after the next income. But I think this is the one I want to do. That doesn't change any values, so we go down to here. Now he's looking at the B. He does not want to fire off the yen because this guy is interested in increasing the yen. So he's not going to do that, so he's got to invest. Well, what can he and can't he invest in? B, he's got Great British Pounds that are committed, and D, he's got Euros committed. So I can make a deal involving some of these other things. I cannot make a deal. I can buy some of these other things. What other things do I have? So I'm looking at CNY and CADs, neither of which I want to strengthen. I might as well work, because again, I don't want to fire this off. I cannot buy a contract, so I have to buy things. Who can I hurt? US dollars is not mine. So I will buy a US dollars certificate. And that weakens these other currencies. And then I can buy one more. Somebody's playing in CHF. And nobody is selling Japanese, so I don't want to strengthen them. So I will exchange the CHF as well. And these are nice because they're going to produce a lot of income through the course of the game, but it doesn't matter if that currency is weakened later. So we push these, and these come down. And I know for a lot of you, you're like, wow, this is boring as shit. You know, I like it. I like the kind of decision making involved in this kind of game, and it's all about player interactions and trying to anticipate other people's strategies and what you can do to take advantage of them. To me, it's very much like a boiled down XX game, but it's lacking certain aspects that sometimes are harder to to understand, like, you know, the effect of the track lays, etc. All right, on to this guy. He has E. He's interested in his CNYs. He might have quite a while before he has to fire them off. There are no contracts available for him, though. So I have really two choices. I could fire this guy's thing off before my E comes. And I think that's what I actually want to do. Because I'm hurting him in terms of I could get an even better payoff than I'm getting. That's what I say. Okay, so this guy has to pay his £2, and that's matched on here. And he gets his 8 CNY. This is what he did not want to have happen. And that puts us over here. He could fire off contract C, but again, there's a yen out there that is likely going to get bought. So I don't really want to do that. I can't fire off F. That's a long ways away. I could increase its chance of getting out there. So what do I have left? Well, C and F. I could create another contract. Okay, what are my current contracts? My current contracts cover the pounds, and they cover my CHF. So those are the two that I really would rather not spend. Taking out a loan isn't necessarily a bad thing, but there's no reason for me to do it right now. So I could create another little thing that I could play in, buying certificates later. So let's take a look at what we're looking at. We're looking at other contracts, CAD, JPY. I'd like to be able to buy whatever I'm increasing. So let's take a look. CAD JPY. That's a good turnaround. This time it's switched. So a good turnaround the other way, the Japanese yen for the CADs. However, I'll be playing against somebody else there, but somebody else is strengthening CADs maybe. Let's see, he does not have any to play with, so that's not very likely. And the guy who's holding the other one might be strengthening his JPY, so I might be able to get a double strengthening there. That doesn't sound terrible to me. Let's take a look at the others. I've got euros and I've got the JPY CAD. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the JPY CAD, but which way do I want to do it? Well, again, I think we've got someone who is going to be strengthening the JPY. So, I don't have a CAD thing, so I'm going to do the exact same exchange as he's doing. Program, where did it go? Yeah. Okay, program that in late. You gotta kind of remember to put your things there, and that moves it over here. Figure out where I am. But yeah, and I'm on this guy. He's got something that comes after the next interest. So, you know, CAD's going to JPY. Beyond that, though, what can I do? Well, I have a bunch of CNY. So the CNY is kind of interesting. So I might want to improve my commodity while I'm holding it by just buying some of that, because I have a lot of it, and that, you know, helps people though with their bids in it as well. It's kind of a, hey, how can I estimate what's going to help me the most and not help other people as much, you know? But you kind of want to ride the wave too, of investing in things other people are going to, because they will help you when you help them. Anyway, where am I sitting here? There's no investments available to me. I could either, no contracts available. I could either burn a card and try to get to my A, which is CAD to JPY, which in and of itself doesn't make much sense. So what I probably want to do is I want to improve JPY and buy other things. What other things do I want? Well, that's a good question. USD, two people have. CNY, people are trying to buy that. Now I could sell it, but I have a lot of already cash in that, which has an inherent value. So I probably don't want to just sell it. The CHF, strengthening that makes this a worse deal. So and nobody's trying to produce CHF, so I'm going to convert that into one, and that strengthens the CHF. And then we look for others. Those two go over. And I'm allowed one other, and this is the one I want to do. I'm strengthening the JPY, buying another one of them, and that pushes and moves these. And then we move the die. All right, this guy, still no openings there. D is coming up close. Euro to CAD. I'm getting a better payout, right? So I'm getting as if it were here, so that's kind of good. I can't strengthen euro. I need these for money. So then my choices are burn C, and that's pounds to CNY. Looks like 5-1. Seriously. Wow, somebody's got a lot of money cooking in there. I can't really do anything about that. So I think I'll burn some of my investment capability now. Yeah. Okay. So JPY doesn't do us anything, but we don't need it. I hate doing this, but it'll give me more cash when we get here. Well, it'll give me that cash back when we get there. And overall, I have that investment for a long time, many payoffs otherwise. And then I'm going to also buy myself a CNY, which strengthens the CNY, but you know, I don't have many options to do with my income. Okay, and that strengthens that, which continues to push its value upward. Player here, again, nothing available. What's he sitting on? He's sitting on a lot of cash. He doesn't have a lot of investments. That's kind of an important thing. He's trading for CNY, so I definitely want to buy the CNY. The question is, what is the other thing that I'm going to buy while I buy that? And I don't know. I look for something that's hurting people. So two people are trading CAD, so strengthening that would be nice. Definitely don't want to strengthen JPY. CHF, strengthening that is kind of cool too, as is strengthening the euro. The USD, that's what I'm doing. I definitely don't want to strengthen that. I need that money. Let's strengthen the euro, because that hurts someone. There aren't a lot of these, so they're maybe a more interesting solution. And then the CNY. I think it's weird that I only bought one thing. I'm wondering if I don't have, if I should have something else. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I got all of them, and I haven't made any trades. Okay, so the CNY just got strengthened. And I'm making my deals for that all the more valuable. Now we go to somebody who has half the deals on the table set up. Okay, well, first one is C. C is a really good deal, if I recall, and it's just gotten better. I probably want to burn this. I don't have a whole lot of loose cash because most of it's committed to these deals. So let's fire C off. I got to come up with 2 Great British Pound. There we go. And what do I get for that? I get 10 CNY, which is fantastic. And that goes away. And I need to recuperate a little bit. I went through kind of an emotional experience just recently. I'm kind of coming down, just listening to songs, but yeah. Okay. Here I've got a lot of CNY. Some USD I'm not using. There's a contract available. I can buy myself, 2 more investments. I think I'd rather take advantage of that contract. Which direction do I want to play it in? Well, I have a lot of money in CNY that I can build up my CNYs. There's a fair number of them left, so 3. That's $6. Am I the only one who's going to buy them? One of the problems is there is still somebody out there who's playing with them, but I expect I'll be turning them in. The danger, of course, is there's a lot of these out there that if I'm the person invested in them, they could sink me. So that's one concept I have that I could make. On the other hand, I have the capability of going in the other direction. I would have to be paying 2 for 1 instead of 1 for 2. I'm not sure which direction to go in. So I'm going to go make a die roll for that. Okay, I am going to buy into the USDs, which means I will commit all 8. Could actually commit more with the assumption that I'm going to sell my CNY that I have. I'm going to put 8 in there. That way I'm not owing money. I could go up to 10 though. I'm definitely collecting. Yeah, let's go up to 10 of them. 10 of them allows me to buy 5 US dollars. And that lets me throw these into play, and that'll give me a reason to buy a US factory or whatever it is. Certificate is what it's called. Okay, over to him. D. He's got euros and CADs. He could trigger that. How does it look? He's getting the same price that he ordered on it. It doesn't seem terribly worthwhile. What are my other options? My other options involve buying more CNY, boosting the price of it. Hurts him, helps him. Don't know if I want to do either of those. I may be best off just breaking even. Let's take a look though. I don't know if he's doing all that well. He's not getting that big a shift. But I need the euros. I can't buy 2 of these. You can't buy 2 of the same company or the same country. I'm gonna trigger D. Okay. So I have to spend my 2 euros. And those go away. I get my 4 CADs. That gives me something else I can play with. And I think works me better because then I can buy both if I so desire. Okay. Over here, he could fire off E. E is not doing too badly. I see somebody screwing the other direction with those, so I probably don't want to hold any longer. So E is trading 2 USD in for these 6 CNY. And I could sort of a couple more investment pips. Over here, F is available. F is CHF for USD. They're still at even. There's no real reason to be doing that. However, maybe there's a reason to be going for B, which is the CAD to JAP. I can't do it yet, but that's actually pretty good. That's gone in the right direction for me. But what is F? F is USD. I can't buy any more of them. There are things I could buy though. So I want to buy a CNY and strengthen it. And I probably want to buy one other thing because I can. What is the other thing? Well, B and F say I don't want to use CADs and I don't want to use CHFs, but I have Euro and JAP. I definitely don't want to screw. I don't want to increase the value of those right now. So I will buy a Euro and strengthen it as well. One of the reasons for doing this is so that when this gets triggered, I get more cash. So then the Euros were triggered forward. And that's that. Okay. Over there, A and C. A is turning CADs and C is turning all my CNYs and then some. Both of them have to come after cash is paid out. So what am I getting rid of? I'm getting rid of these. I have 2 USDs I can play with. There's not a lot I can do with those 2 USDs at this point. What might I want to turn them into? I could turn them into 3 Chinese. Sort of the opposite of what I'm doing here. But the value of the CNYs has gone up, unfortunately, for me. Not at all sure what is my plan. Well, since I'm converting CNYs to USDs, I want to improve the USD. And that pushes these and brings that down. He wants to get to that payoff, but maybe he has something he wants to do first because there are a couple of contracts open for me to play with. And I don't have a contract. So I've got CNY and CAD. It sounds like I want to play in those two if that's what I've got, because I can change the valuations. Right now, CAD is worth a little less than CNY. I could make it worth more or less, which means I want to convert CADs to CNYs. I have a CAD. I am going to commit to giving 6 CAD up for 6 CNY because they're at even. Oops. Am I out of 5s? Interesting. I could, of course, do that another way, but I'll record it this way. And we move the ticket over. Over here. No commitments. I would probably like to turn my money into different money. So let's look. CNYs, if I strengthen them, that hurts that trade but turns the other one good. CHF definitely looks like a good thing to buy. So I'll pick up a CHF and that will strengthen it. Okay. And I got CAD and JPY. I don't want to strengthen the JPYs. Wow, I really do want to strengthen CADs. So we'll do that. And that converts a bunch of these over. His world probably just got worse. CHF, USD, yeah, they're still at even. Still no real reason to move that. And there's a contract open. So what do I need to pay out? Well, B's are 2 of my CADs. F is 2 of my CHF. I have Chinese and, of course, I might want to just, you know, because when this fires off, I get more cash. So, yeah, what am I looking at? B is CAD, F is CHF. So these are the ones I don't want to play with. So why don't I buy a Japanese? Even though that helps, hey, that helps me. Excellent. We'll hold on that then. We're gonna buy the Chinese. That went from a 3 down to a 1. We buy yet another Chinese and improve the value of those. And yes, things bounce around a little bit, don't they? Yep. Wow. I'm flipping things over for some reason. Okay. So that's the Chinese. I get to buy one other thing. I was going to buy a Japanese one. And strengthen the Japanese, which I'm involved in actually. So we look for them. That goes there. This comes over. And there we go. All right, time for a little pause, I think. Due to a certain sort of stasis with respect to the Q, and that's because everybody's got something to do. They can make money. Why spend an action on this? I know some people talk about the Q is just bad, you know, it's sort of the last choice thing to do. Sometimes that's the case. This is one of those instances where, you know, as long as you have money and other things to do, you can probably do something better than just push that on, especially since this is sitting as an equal exchange. So pushing time forward in and of itself doesn't do a whole hell of a lot. It allows room for your transactions to be mucked with by either you or other people. But generally, you know, you don't move the Q unless there's a good reason to do so. Okay, so we're over here. He's got A and C. He's got CADs that he doesn't want to strengthen, even though he's got the money to do. He's got CNYs that he doesn't want to strengthen. So I don't want to do purchases. You might say, well, they're a good idea, but there's still a contract open. Unfortunately, 10 of my bucks is on that contract here. And what is the other one? A is 2 of my bucks. I will have another 2 CAD though. So I think I'm going to open up yet another contract with CADs. Does that make sense? Maybe. Or maybe it makes sense to just start pushing the envelope there. I've got 5 but other people have more certificates than I do. So it's not like I necessarily am going to make more money off of triggering time passing. So maybe I'm better off playing around with the certs. Well, let's take a look at CADs. I could convert them to CNYs. I could do like a big bid. The restrictions on that, I'm trying to remember. I know something's 10, but I don't remember if it was just the stronger. And by the way, I haven't done a spot transaction yet. Usually those happen when somebody really needs something. But they're still limited by the current exchange rate. So basically you have to want something and find somebody else who wants to make that trade with you. So it's kind of a rare thing. Okay, so making a contract, let me see what the rule here is. I seem to remember something about a 10 being a limit there. Oh, so there's this don't be obnoxious rule, which seems almost like an optional rule, but it really isn't. So not in excess of $10. So the stronger currency has to be a whole number, not in excess of $10. And that's a big deal, because the not in excess of $10 means, well, it's for the stronger. So you could turn in $10 for up to $80 worth of stuff. So I could make a rather large bid there with the idea that maybe somehow I'd be able to come up with that cash. So for example here, I could certainly make a bid on that $5 US that I've got coming to me. That may not be such a bad idea. And what am I doing? What is my other one? My other one is A. I'm converting CADs. So that I don't want to screw with. So I have $2 Japanese, and I have 2 more Japanese coming in there. So I got $4 there. I got $7 US I can play with. What could I do with that $7 US? Well, I can buy a currency that I'm already playing in here. So $7 US could get me a lot of euros, but I'm not going to be able to move euros very much. There's nothing I'm going to be able to move much. So let's look for opportunities. CHF is here. I could weaken the CHF. Do I want to weaken? I could strengthen the CHF. I don't really want to do that. Crap. It's just that I have a lot of money there in the US dollars coming to me that I could turn around. I gotta think a little bit about it. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take that $7 US that I plan on having. There's no real risk to this, I think. I'm gonna take $6 US that I plan on having, and I'm gonna convert that into Japanese because I can strengthen the Japanese. And in fact, I can strengthen it a couple of times. So at 1.5 times 6 means I will be getting 9 Japanese. Five, 3, 1. And you can see it starts to get, more intricate, the decision making, because I've got things banked. I've got things to consider about the ordering and everything as to what I'm gonna go for on the next one. Now D here. Well, all the transactions are closed out. I am using the CADs, but I don't have anything I'm doing with CNYs. There's a CNY open there. I am going to invest in the last CNY. What's that? I pick up a third one of these. Now they're kind of in danger, so I may want to get things moving very quickly. CNY, well, I push the CAD. Hey, neat stuff's happening. The Chinese yen is no longer the weak currency the Canadian dollar is. And the pound is not far behind. So you can see how things invert very quickly. Over to him. What can he do? He has no transactions available. I could just buy shares and stuff. Can't buy that. I could buy a Japanese. What would that do? That would help other people and do nothing good for me. So I'm going to trigger F off because I've kind of run out of choices. He has to come up with 2CHF, which he does, and he gets the US dollars. And he loses his transaction. That's just opened one up for him, though, as well as giving him new currencies to play in. However, he could, if he wanted to, fire off the money. 3, 6 of these. 3, 4, 5, 3, 6, 3. I'm kind of in the lead in terms of these, but let's think about our B. We're trading CADs for JAP at 1-to-1. That's not bad. So moving time along is not a horrible thing for me before somebody screws up the Japanese market on me, which this guy might want to. He doesn't have an obvious chance to do so, though, until something happens. Alternatively, I do have those 2 US dollars now, and I do have some Chinese money. Now, the Chinese money could buy me a lot of this, which I don't really get much advantage out of. I'm going to have a lot of Chinese money, though. And Chinese to US dollars is 1-to-1. That would be easy to weaken. I am going to put 6. I'm going to put 12 Chinese, and I'll represent that with a tenner, just to make life easy. And I'm going to turn that into 12 US dollars. Because I have money in US already, so I can upgrade it. I'll put that in the back of the line, and I'll push things over. Over here, no transactions available to be made. My money. Can't buy any more Chinese. There's CADs available. I do not particularly want to strengthen that, so I'm going to fire this off. What's going to happen is everybody's going to get $2 for each of their things. So for example, here we'd be talking about $2 US, $2 Japanese, $2 CHF, $2 CNY, and 2 euros. And then he gets all this in cash. Lots of money to play with. That's going to move things over, but everybody else is going to collect too. So I'm going to jump away while I pull the money for other people. Everybody has oodles of cash again because their things produced. And this is why you must get these certificates. If you don't get those certificates, you're just working off the arbitrage and not the income. And arbitrage is not a way to make a lot of money. And then this usually goes away and off to the box, and that pushes us down to him. Now he has D, which is not available to be triggered. There's nothing I can do there, but now I have tons of money to play with. So let's look at what D is. D is creating Chinese. If I could buy Chinese, that would be good for me, but all the Chinese is bought. That currency is as strong as it's ever going to get now. It is just going to decrease from now on. So it's kind of a crappy thing, and I may want to start triggering actions to get rid of that. Otherwise, I could buy stuff to hurt people. US, hey, that's kind of a trade. CHF, nobody's playing in. CAD, that would hurt a bunch of people, including me, so I don't want to do that, and I need the cash for that. So I'm kind of the mood that I will fire this sucker off. And that means he has to give up 2 CAD to get his 2 Japanese. And he doesn't have the choice not to. Okay. And how did that work out? That's pretty good for him right now because the CAD has decreased in value. But I'm pushing time along for my thing. Okay, well that just opened up a potential for him. So he probably doesn't want to fire off B, which is again a CAD Jap that definitely is a good deal still. So what am I going to do? Well, I could buy some Canadian dollars and increase it, but I would rather set up a contract first to make money off the contract. What does that mean? That means I look, and there are so many options because I have so many different types of money. The first round, things sort of get kind of static after a little bit. Everything's wide open and then everything starts becoming more patterned, but now it's much harder to figure out what I want to do. I have a bunch of Chinese though. Chinese is only going to decrease in value. It can't go up. So hey, let's buy something with that Chinese money. It'll come after the next run. So I have $10 Chinese that I can spend. And $10 Chinese, well, I'm going to buy CADs with as much of it as I can. $9 Chinese doesn't do it. $10 Chinese gets me $15 Canadian, right? Yeah. So, since we're kind of short on Chinese currency, that's not Canadian. Turn that into this. Huh. Somebody's got A sitting out there still. That gives me the A contract, lets me put it there. And I move the die and we look at him. He could trigger off his B. His B is good, but it can get better if I buy the Japanese. So, what else am I up to? I'm up to F. I would like to buy US as well. Excellent. So I'll buy a Japanese. Yeah. Okay. And then I'll buy a US certificate. US is looking very strong. In fact, I think it's our strongest currency. And that's what I did. I just improved my payout for that B, making it even less appealing for anyone else to do to me. Alrighty. We'll go once more around, I guess. What's he got? E and C. He's got US dollars turning into Japanese. That has not moved. Yeah, but he has Japanese, so he can buy those. He also has Chinese turning into US. Chinese turning into US is first, so I am going, well, I'm going to buy both. I'm going to buy a US and improve overall. And then I'm going to buy the Japanese, which I'm turning next. And that goes here. And that shifts these down. And then I look for Japanese elsewhere. making other currencies stronger. Come down here, we've got a D. D is turning CADs into CNY. I would like to strengthen CNY. I can't. I would like to fire this off. It's not time yet, but maybe that's the best I can do. There are no contracts open. Do I want to just invest? Well, maybe. So investing in CADs would hurt these guys but help him. I think instead I'm just going to fire this thing off just to get to time. How's D? Do I want D to fire off? That's the thing. CAD to Chinese. CADs are worth less than Chinese, and I've got them at even. Yeah, I'm going to fire this off and get rid of it. So he has to come up with 2 CAD. He does. And that means he gets these 2 Japanese and gets rid of that. And that moves us down to here. He's got A. A is a long way off. He's trading Chinese for CADs. I probably want to invest in CADs. Okay, but what else do I want to invest in? Yeah, good question. Again, love to invest in Chinese, but, well, not right now. Maybe I want to set up another trade so that I can pick up 2 things. There's a lot of Canadian dollars out there, and or markers out there, so I don't really think that's a huge advantage. I could convert this big pile of Canadian dollars I'm going to get into Great British pounds. They're at a 1-to-1, and I can weaken the Canadian dollar very easily and thus make a margin on it comparatively. So yeah. Sure. See, I'll have this rolling fund, and that's what I like. So I could convert 10 Canadian dollars. Now I'm going to have 15. Can I do better than 10? Let's see. I could turn them into these, but these are really iffy now that there's no capability to improve that ratio, only make it worse. Yeah, I'm going to commit myself to handing off 10 Canadian dollars for 10 Great British pound. I don't know how wise this is. I don't see an automatic benefit to this because I've got 2 in a row, and I'm playing around with the Canadian dollars in both of them, but we'll see how that works. Over here, he would like to strengthen US dollars. He doesn't have anything else he can do except he could fire off C. C is CNYs to US dollars. That's not going to get any better than it is it? Well, yeah, it doesn't really matter. That's at par. I don't see any real reason to play with that. So I would like then to strengthen. Of course, I could weaken the Chinese and get a lot of cash. But in a sense, that doesn't really help. Because by weakening them by 3 spaces or whatever, I am weakening the money I have as well. And getting some additional cash that doesn't really help me. So, except for the fact that I'd be hurting this guy, I'd be helping myself to do that. So, what do I want to pick up? Japanese looks like a pretty good currency compared to euros. Strengthening Japan is good for him, though. Strengthening euros doesn't really help anyone. Yeah, we're going to do this. I'm going to sell 3 of these. That is going to get me 6 more Chinese bucks. here. And that is going to weaken the Chinese dollar significantly, or the Chinese yen. Now going clockwise and counterclockwise, because that's how I play. He's got to decide, does he want to get rid of it? Well, he's at E and C. Oh, it doesn't really hurt me to do so. Do I want to keep producing Chinese money? That's the real question. If I get rid of this, I'm no longer producing Chinese money, but it looks like it's just going to take a huge bath. So I2, I mean, it produces more. I2 will dump because there is a player who is invested in this. Well, I sure the hell don't want to drop my 3, but I'm getting hurt by this. There's no question about that. And then this guy is selling Chinese, so he also will dump a Chinese for some extra cash. And that turns into, let's put a +5 on him. Okay. That's the money he has aligned here. He's all cleaned out. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. First we'll handle the Chinese. So this is kind of complicated because things go in two directions. When you're strengthening something, it's very easy because the stronger's on the track. But here I have to kind of remember what I'm doing. So this is getting weakened. So we do the track last. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Remember how I said it can slam the price? Now we go for these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are gone. Nobody has the opportunity to invest in the Chinese. They're in depression now, basically. They've just lost, so much valuation on their currency, and that shifts it over here, and that really hurts the guy who was producing Chinese. It doesn't do much to the people who are selling it because they already had the money committed here. It would help if they had loans out on that shit. If that was money they didn't actually have committed in pocket. And that's something I haven't learned how to do yet. How to safely engineer a loan for yourself and then trash the economy on that. That's definitely something people should have considered playing forward. Very much like in Star Trader. Hey, there's going to be a criminal inflation. Gosh, it's time to take out a loan with all your money. That would definitely be the case in this game. If you had, if you're sitting on a good quantity of the certificates in something, you could take out a huge loan, know that you're dropping the value, and make a big bundle on it. I'm not that smart yet, but I see the possibility. All right, let's load this one up, and yeah, I think this is going better than I expected, given that I'm doing it by hand. And I'm sure it is boring as shit, because honestly, the excitement in this game is really all cerebral, and it's all about the competition, and it's direct competition. It's like a game of chess, but it's multiplayer. All your actions really influence and set things up for other players. And there's cooperation and such not that takes place in the game, much like in some of the Winsome designs that are out there. But it also is working with, a fairly reasonable model of currency exchanges. So far I'm pretty happy with it.